every Monday night.
We'd like to say that in our opinion it is not suitable for children.
Every Monday night?
Or for those of you who may have a nervous disposition.
Every Monday night.
And every Monday night.
Then we have a super sound DJ.
Sean Cook.
Good people, it is my pleasure to present to you
Sean Cook.
the one and only
Sean Cook.
Hello, hello, and welcome to the show. Hello, 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 welcome to the show.
So let's have fun, 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 fun.
Stand by for action.
Oh, Sean Cook.
Okay, we're doing it. Let's see if we can find someone at the other end of this telephone.
Hello.
Hello, would that be Mr. Gary Shail?
Hello, is that who I think it is?
Well, hopefully it's Cookie here at Target Radio. How are you?
I'm all right, Cookie. How are you, mate? All right.
I'm not too bad at all. Lovely. Thank you very much indeed for taking a little time out of your very busy schedule to have a little chat. Why are we all talking posh? I've no idea why.
No idea.
I'm trying to do the actor thing, but it's not working. It's not working.
I might keep it up all night.
Oh, that's what she says. Right, okie dokie. Firstly, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, no, all good, actually. So,
Marvellous.
Busy and just running around as usual, backwards and forwards. But no, it's all good.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Now, a little birdie tells me, and obviously it was all plastered over Facebook, that somebody had a birthday on Saturday.
Yes, I was 59. Are we on air, by the way?
We are on air, yes.
Oh, right. Hello, everyone. Yeah, I was 59. Can you believe that?
No, you're not. No, you don't look a day over 58.
I woke up, I was in shock. I woke up and I was in shock for about 5 coffees. And then it sort of dawned on me.
It dawned on you, yeah. Don't worry, next year will be the big one.
Oh, no, don't even go there.
No, we won't.
It's like, I was thinking 10 years ago, I was at people's 60th birthday thinking, I'm a long way off. And that was feels like yesterday.
Oh, no. So what did you do on your birthday, anyway? What did you do?
What's the word? Naff all, I think, is the phrase that springs to mind.
Well, that's either rock and roll at your age, or is it an actor's thing? As you get to a certain age, you just don't do anything.
Well, it's like, it's like I remember someone saying, I go out and I think this is why I don't go out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like I go out all the time. I mean, it's great. I go to events and things like that. So really, to throw an event for myself just seems a bit pointless.
Yeah, indeed.
So I'm not really one for sort of parties and things. But no, it was nice. It was good. Went out with my my partner. We went out to have a burger at the local boozer in Sherborne, which was lovely.
Ah.
So yeah, but I was back home watching Law and Order Special Victims Unit by 11.
We just can't keep up with you, Gary. That's what it is. We just can't keep up with
rock
this.
And roll.
It's rock and roll lifestyle at its very, very best. So
but I am actually at this precise moment standing in the car park of the Milton Port Village Hall, where my friend Joe Burt is rehearsing his new band for a European tour. So it is a bit rock and roll down here in the West Country.
Brilliant. Right, okay. Now I have got some questions for you. First and foremost, okay, let's say hello to Diane Abel Connections, who's listening right now.
Hello, Diane. All right.
And she wants to know, have you got any future plans to organise any more mod events in Leeds or Wakefield?
Wakefield and Leeds. I mean, do you know what? I've been talking to Trevor Laird and Leslie Ash and Toya. I mean, I talk to everyone at some point, but Trevor and I, for the last few years, as you know, have been sort of regularly coming to Brighton for the Mod Weekenders. And that's been great, and we've sort of been building that up. We did a couple of shows recently up north. We did one in Chesterfield at the Avenue, which was fantastic. Yeah. And they want us back. So we're going to do one there. We're going to sort of up the game a bit. Leslie Ash has come on board now. So we're planning some new events for next year. Obviously, it's the 40th. And everybody would like us to do one. So what I'll say is if there's anyone in Leeds who's a promoter, who has a venue, who wants a Quadrophenia kind of experience where we chat about it and we show, I mean, it's each show's different, really. I mean, it depends if they've got a band on as well and things like that. But we're quite self-contained now. So, I'm open to any suggestions next year.
Marvellous.
About doing gigs anywhere, really.
Brilliant, lovely. And hopefully we can get Trevor, because I heard he goes out a lot.
Trevor, he's always out.
He's always out, and he's never in.
He's been out since 1978. No one knows where he goes.
No, absolutely. He's probably gone, south of the water, but never mind. Never
yeah.
mind. And she goes on to say then, what is your most favourite mod band? Great question, I think.
That's difficult. I mean, it's difficult because there's new bands. I mean, I'm a great champion of the Regents, and always have been. I mean, I just think they're like the new face, really, and I love it.
Yeah,
but
indeed.
I saw when I was in Chesterfield, I saw The Truth play for the first time.
Young Dennis Greaves.
And I've been watching him on TV for years.
But he doesn't get older. He doesn't get any older, Gary. What's going on with him?
I mean, he still puts in like 2 hours on stage, full on.
I know.
But they were fantastic. I was so impressed with them. Secret Affair were great as well, and I haven't seen them in years. And the Lambrettas are still rocking it. I mean, there's so many different reasons. I mean, the Lambrettas I've known, we were signed to the same record company back in 1980, and so I've known those lads for 40 years.
Wow.
I'm seeing Paul and his wife Ches on Wednesday. We're going out for a bite to eat just to have a chat about. We're doing Skarmouth together this year. So
is that Paul Windsor, the drummer, isn't it?
What's that?
Is that Paul Windsor, the drummer?
Yeah, Paul. Yeah, I've known Paul for God knows how many years.
Yeah,
so.
He's also the drummer now with this special guest mod band, along with Enzo Esposito, who was with Squire back in the day as well.
That's right. And Foxy as well, isn't it?
No, I don't know if Foxy's part of it or not. I'm not sure, but Foxy's no longer part of our Target Radio little family anymore. But he's moved on to pastures new.
Yep, so I hear. So all good. Change is good.
They say change is good as a rest, and my goodness me, I need one of those. Now, I've got to ask you a question. I mean, this is quite a sort of, shall we say, cryptic. All I'm going to say is 2 words to you, and I'm going to see what your reaction is going to be. Well, when I say bellboy.
Ah, yes. Well, that's something. I mean, I actually am allowed to talk about it. I think. For March of the Mods next year, I think. It's been suggested that an album's going to be recorded to sell at events, with all proceeds going to the Teenage Cancer Trust. And they've asked certain mod bands and other bands if they'd like to record a track from the Quadrophenia album.
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
And anyway, the Transmitters, who I've worked with before in the past, I did a couple of tracks on their debut album.
Go on. Call that around.
They've been allocated bellboy for the album, and they've asked me to do the bellboy bit, which I'm really chuffed about.
Oh,
so,
that will be absolute.
But I think
you'll nail
like
that.
Richard Burton.
I think
I'm going to do it like Richard Burton. I've got a new job, and I'm newly born. You should see me dressed up in my uniform.
Oh, that would be good. Go on, give us your best Mooney impersonation. Come on.
Oh no, I'm rubbish at it. I'm rubbish. And I was much better when I was drinking, but and that was crap then. But no, I'm not good at that. I'm not Benedict Cumberbatch. I don't do party turns on Graham Norton.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. I'll be looking forward to that if that takes off, and that will be absolutely brilliant. So the TCT Teenage Cancer Trust is an absolute worthwhile. Charity, so I would suggest that everyone go out and buy this album once it's recorded and on sale, because every single penny is going to go for worldwide.
Yeah, and hopefully the distribution. Charity. I think that I don't know how they're going to do it. I haven't really spoke to them at great length, but I think they're going to make sure there's copies of the album to buy at all the March of the Mods events next year, and as we know, there's lots of them. So hopefully it'll do well and raise a few quid.
I think it will, especially when, put names like yourself on there. Transmitters are a really good band as well, and I would say to
they really are. They're getting, and I think they get better all the time. I mean, they sent me a copy of their 4-track new EP, and it's just brilliant.
It is, isn't it? It is absolutely brilliant. Yeah, I've got it here actually. They sent me it along with the badge and everything. And I've got to say now, I just love the first track on there. So Here We Go Again, which is a brilliant track.
Yeah, it's a great track. But I had real trouble. Martin wanted, which one's your favourite? And I was like, I really can't. Each one had its own identity. And I thought, the musicianship was great on it. The drumming especially is got me as well on that album.
Yeah,
so,
I've just heard a couple from Danny
I'm
Short,
really looking
actually.
forward to doing Bellboy. I think it'd be I don't know what they're going to come up with, but it should be interesting.
Oh, that will be. And I've just played a couple from Danny Short, actually, because he's got his own album out as well by rights.
Oh, right, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's a really good musician, actually. He plays a lot of different instruments, and his singing ain't that half that bad either, actually. When I asked him, I said, I didn't even know you sung. He went, well, he says, you know, he done it in his funny little voice, and, well, he says, you have to listen to and I've listened to that album, Gary, and I'll be honest with you, mate, it is absolutely a blinder. It's so different.
Yeah, it is. It's totally different, but it keeps reminding me of things. And I was trying to write a review, and I thought, I can't do this because it reminded me of some of it of the Monkees, early Monkees stuff. And, you know, and it's so kitchen sink. It's got its real kind of, you know, I just think that, you know, the lyrics and that are great. I mean, I'm a real fan of that, you know, EP. So
absolutely, brilliant. So there we go. That's something else. And I'm going to ask you a couple of older questions. I've probably asked these before, but for some of our newer listeners out there on Target Radio, the first thing I want to ask you is, how did you actually audition for the part of Spider? Actually, did you go there knowing that you were going to be Spider, or did you audition for something else in Quadrophenia first?
No, it was only for that one role. And it was at the London casting. I'd only just left college.
Yeah.
So it was like, have you got anything mod? And I said no. So my mum took me up to the charity shop and got me a pair of ridiculous shoes and sent me off. And I met the casting directors. The first audition was with Patsy Pollock and Esther Charkham.
Yeah.
And they said if I got through that one, then I would have to meet the director. So by the time I'd got home, I'd already got asked to go back. So I went back again, and that's when I met Frank. And me and Frank had a Mexican standoff. And basically, he said he didn't think I was tough enough, and I basically said, come outside and say that, and and basically that was it. I left with the role, yeah, so no, I mean, I didn't audition for anything else, and I didn't have to do any of those improvisation sessions with everybody else, so no, I was lucky.
Brilliant stuff. And this is a question I've asked you before, but again, obviously for our newer listeners out there, Spider itself is obviously, you know, a great personality within the film, and I believe that, you know, you've been earmarked for the We Are the Mods. You started that off with the riot part of everything. You started off the chant, didn't you?
Yeah, that's mine.
That's yours,
so,
and nobody else can take that away from you.
I'd have had a patent out on it.
I think you should have done, because that is a chant now that wherever you go down to Brighton, you hear it all the time. Oh, listen, it's a radio station in Memphis. It's got its own clothing range. It's got T-shirts. It's ridiculous. And I'm just like, I think I wrote about it in my book. I said, if I had a penny for every time someone shouted that at me, I'd have about 28 quid. Yeah, absolutely. You know, and yet at the time, funny enough, when I did it and everyone started doing it, we were all a little bit embarrassed about it. I thought, you know, maybe that wasn't the right thing to do. It's a bit football chanty, you know, but we sort of, and there's no reference of anybody ever saying that in history. Do you know what I mean? No, so it all seemed a bit it sort of took on with a life of its own. So was it scripted? And before we knew where we were, it was like, you know, written in the Bible. Yeah. Was that part of the script, or did you just ad-lib that? No, it wasn't part of the script. It was like, as we were walking along the seafront, I think Frank said, oh, when you see the photographers, shout something. Or, you know, right. And so, because a lot of the film was improvised, you know, so we were sort of thinking on the spot, really, and that was one of those things. That is absolutely brilliant. Now, the other question, and again, I've asked you this before, and it is a fantastic story behind it. The trench coat, Gary, come on. Oh, my trench coat. How I got it back? Hello, Ma. Oh, hello, Ma. John Altman, yes. Nasty Nick. Yes. Well, we hadn't seen each other in a long time, and we were both asked to do an event in Leicester, I think it was, at the NEC. Yeah. And he said to me, he came up to me after like 28 years or something and said, oh, when we get back to London, you've got to come over. I've got something for you. And I kept thinking, what's he got? And I couldn't think. And anyway, we got back to London, and he phoned me up and he said, no, come over for lunch. I have something for you. So went over, and he said, right, took me into his flat, said, cover your eyes. I'm like, what the hell's he going to come out with? Right, so I thought, this is a bit worrying. Anyway, I covered my eyes. He said, open your eyes. And there it was, hanging in the door frame, my old coat. And I was like, where the hell did you find that?
And the story is that many, many years ago, I had a girlfriend called Tracy. And my Tracy. And I'd obviously given it to her, and I remember letting her borrow it. She used to wear it with a beret and looked a bit like something out of Hello, Hello. But she quite liked it, and I let her wear it. Anyway, she dumped me for John Altman.
Well, how dare she?
Oh, how dare she? How very dare she?
Oh.
Anyway, she buggered off with John. Obviously, I forgot about the coat. She left it at John's flat when he chucked her out some years later. And the coat had been sat under John's bed for the last 30 years.
Oh, my goodness me. And you've got it now, haven't you? You still got it?
Yeah, I've got it back.
Now, are you going to be wearing that next year for the 40th?
I think it'll make an appearance.
I think you need to wear it at least the once, you know, just...
Well, funny enough, we did a documentary recently for the 40th for Sky Arts.
Yes.
And we've all done it. And they asked me if I had anything from the film. And I said, I've got the coat. So I took that, and what they've done is they've done a new picture for the 40th anniversary of us all in the same positions as we were back in 1978. And I'm wearing the coat in that picture.
Oh, fantastic. Is that you guys up against the wall there, is it?
Yes, yeah, they recreated it. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they've done with it. But apparently it looks fantastic.
Now,
so
of course, obviously, I'm not going to ask you any questions because we don't want any spoiler alerts and stuff. And possibly you've signed waivers and you're all tight-lipped on that anyway. But was it fun? Was it fun shooting it or meeting all the original cast members again?
What, when we did the Sky thing?
Yes.
Yeah, it was. It was great fun, and it was really well done. I think it was lovely to see everybody again. I mean, I saw the day I did mine, I was with Mark Wingert, I saw Leslie, Toya, Esther Charkham was there, Frank Rodham, so that was great. And then I think Ray Winston and Trevor Laird did it the following day. And then a couple of weeks later, we all sort of met up in a pub in London.
As you do.
And it was the first time we all sort of got to chat, really. So, yeah, no, it's been really nice. So
now,
hopefully next year there'll be a lot more kind of... stuff that we'll all be at.
Now, I'm just hoping that Mark Wingate shaves off that ridiculous-looking beard that he's supporting at the moment and gets rid of that great big motorbike he's got. What's that all about?
Oh, he loves that. He loves his He's always loved his motorbikes.
I know. I'm hoping
he's
going to
put a rocker, believe me.
I know. What's he like? All that leather he turned up. I met him just a couple of weeks ago. The film.
Yeah, what's
Being.
all that leather?
I know.
Yeah.
I was going to chuck him over.
Yeah, I know. What's this rocker doing here?
Yeah, I know. He's a big lad, though, so I chose not to and shook him by the hand instead. But he's just done a film himself with Being, which is an absolute short film. I haven't seen the film, but what I've heard about it, I can't wait to see it. So
yeah, it's been a long time in the coming, but I'm really pleased. It's like, I know Mark's proud of it, and Trevor Laird's in it as well. So, no, I'm looking forward to seeing that too. I haven't seen it either. So.
Well, he's always out, Trevor, so you might as well get him to do a film as well while you're out there.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Do it, you know. Right, I'm just looking on the webpage now, and we've got a couple other bits and pieces as well. I'll get to those in a second, but brilliant stuff. Now, next year, obviously, is the 40th anniversary of Quadrophenia. Now, obviously, it's got to be tight-lipped to some extent, but what have we got to look forward to? Maybe a couple of teasers, if you can, Gary.
Well, I mean, the thing is, it's to put on the event that I'd like is absolutely colossal.
Yes.
Now, I've got people working on this idea, and we said that we're going to get together before Christmas, which we are, and look at the actual logistics. In the meantime, I've been speaking off the record to certain bands and artists I would like to be there, and everybody without question that I've asked said if I can pull it off, they would appear.
Yeah.
So, so I'm sort of setting it up, really.
Brilliant. I know one of those bands, definitely, anyway, so that is great stuff, and I'm sure the young foursome, that's all I'm going to say on that one, are well up for that.
Oh, yeah, no, there's a few. I mean, it's no big secret, but the big secret is whether or not I can actually pull this off. I've spoke to everybody in the cast, and we're all trying to get one day when we can all be in the same place at the same time, because obviously that would be brilliant.
I know it's incredibly hard, obviously one of them is always in the Chelsea stands, isn't he?
Oh, yeah, well, getting them out of that, so they're mad Chelsea supporters. I'll have the game cancelled if I have to.
Well, yeah, I'm with you on that one. I'll help you out there. No problems at all.
Yeah, but also we're going to be doing lots of other kind of, 40th anniversary kind of celebration gigs up and down the country during next year as well. So keep an eye out for those. They'll be well documented and publicised, I'm sure.
Yeah, now
we've
got social
as for
media,
the big one, I would love to do it. Obviously I would love to do it. on Bank Holiday weekend, Mod Weekend at Brighton.
It's got to be. It's got to be, and obviously we've got to make sure we get some deck chairs as well. You know, on a
oh God, the whole lot. The thing is, I might not be able to use the beach, but I've already been talking to set designers that say they can build me a beach wherever I like. So
brilliant.
That's interesting to think about.
That is an interesting concept.
There's a lot of people that are behind this, and if it all comes together, then I'll have an announcement to make probably early New Year.
Fantastic. Well, you can always count on Target Radio to do some broadcasting for you. I'll be down there anyway, regardless.
Of course, no, well, absolutely. I mean, as soon as I've got the red light and, you know, everyone's happy and no one's going to sue me and no one's going to try, you know, there's so much red tape to deal with before we even put the first band on. So
absolutely.
You know, I've got a good run up at it, and a lot of people behind me that want to see it work. So I don't see why not at this stage.
And of all these mod sites out there on Facebook, anyway, you know, you're talking tens of thousands of hardcore members there that all love the film Quadrophenia. You know, me included, and you know, it's a cult status these days. So you know, if we get every single person rallying behind this, Gary, you know, even if it is just making cups of tea for people, or you know, just moving stuff around, it all helps, doesn't it?
Absolutely, but you're looking at an army, you know, and the thing is, it's like, you know, it's quite incredible. You know, you go to an event and you think, oh, this is brilliant. You don't actually really think about why it's brilliant or how much work went into it, and you know, just to get you a hot dog. You know, it's just quite incredible. So, as I say, I've got a team of people that have done this on many occasions, and they know what they're doing.
Fantastic.
So, really, I'm just waiting for them to get me the licenses and the go-aheads, and, you know, lots of different things.
Yeah, tons of paperwork with your signature required. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, hopefully someone else's signature required.
Yes,
but it will, sooner or later, the buck will stop with me, I'm sure.
I'm sure it will, indeed. Now, Diane's gone on to say as well, my only one listener, she wants to know, now, I don't know if this is going to be a sore subject or not, because I know last year that you put out a very decent seasonal song. That's all I'm going to say on the matter. Now, I know that was
my Christmas record.
Oh, that was up for some controversy from others. I enjoyed it. It was quick, witty, and it was harmless piece of artwork, I thought. It was a bit of fun. And I know you got slated for it from certain individuals out there. But she says, have you got any plans for another Christmas song this year? I think I know the answer.
Are you bloody crazy? What, and put myself through that again? You mad? No, you're joking. I mean, that was it. I mean, the thing was, it's like a really good friend of mine, Pat Davey, who was the musical director of All or Nothing.
Yeah.
He just said, I've written this stupid song about mods. Do you want to hear it? And he played it to me in the pub. And I went, that's ridiculous. And he went, yeah. He said, should we do it? And I went, yeah. He said, should we make a video? I went, yeah. So we just did it and put it out. And it was like, you know, and I just couldn't believe it was just remarkable, you know. There's and people were like, you know, having national mourning of Gary Shail Day, and
I know,
you know, it was brilliant. It was absolutely hysterical. But after a while, it was like my news feed my phone just wouldn't shut up, you know, with people giving me massive amounts of support for something that really was just a laugh.
It was.
And then other people saying, you know, if I find out who said that, I'll go around and I'll burn his house down. I was like, listen, it's only a bloody pop record. Don't worry about it.
I mean, yes. I mean, we had to suffer, like, you know, Benny Hill, you know, the fastest milkman in the West back in the 70s. And then, obviously, Cliff Richard. I mean, we all love Cliff Richard, don't get me wrong. But, you know, a Christmas song every year, come on, Cliff.
I know,
you know,
it's just like, you know, hysterical. It's like, you know, what was I, a comedy mod? I was like, well, actually, you know what I mean? If you look at it, right, it's like, you know, that's quite nice. You know, I quite like to be called that.
Absolutely.
You know, it just got ridiculous. But no, I don't have any ambitions to do another Christmas song.
Well, Diane said she loved the last one, so there we are.
Well, there you go. I mean, I got so many videos. The best bit was, you know, families, with, you know, the children were doing little dance routines and then sending it to me, which was brilliant. I mean, so, you know, I mean, you can't please everybody, but it's like, if you're going to take it that seriously, I mean, you know, blimey.
Oh, indeed, indeed. Now, I was going to have another presenter with me this evening. It was Andy Top Walker. So I just wanted to give him a little mention. And he's got a few issues this evening, so he couldn't make it this evening. But he just wanted to say, hello, Gary.
Hello, Andrew. How are you, matey boy?
I hope he's fine. And he'll be down, obviously, down in Brighton next year. Can't wait for that. Looking forward to it already. Whatever we do, it's going to be great, I'm sure. And I know you weren't there this year, but obviously other commitments and stuff. But scooter training is the other question I want to ask you. I know I've asked you this before, but it is a really, really humorous story. I actually asked this of Mark Wingett when I met him as well, and we got that down on a piece of quality audio about your scooter training in Hendon and other places. And just to remind all of our listeners, when you went for the part of Quadrophenia and you knew that you were going to go around on scooters, most of you had never ridden one before. So tell us a story about that.
Well, it was ridiculous because we all went up to Hendon Police Training School to learn how to ride scooters, and basically they trained us on 125s, Yamahas, motorbikes. So, and then they gave us the motorbikes to ride around London on to get used to it.
Yeah.
So we're riding around like lunatics with L plates all over London, and then on the first days, like filming with the scooters, they gave us scooters, which anybody who rides a motorbike and a scooter will tell you are completely different things.
Oh, yeah.
So suddenly we all get on scooters and we're all trying to lean like you do on a motorbike, and everyone kept coming off. I mean, it was ridiculous.
Brilliant.
So we all had to relearn, but it didn't take long.
No.
Except for Trevor Laird, who still can't ride a scooter.
Actually, you never saw him on one.
No, well, he was great. He couldn't ride a bike, let alone a scooter.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know, there's something about Trevor, he just won't get on a bike.
No, indeed.
So,
he's always got something under his hat,
Trevor's excuse was perfect. He said, listen, I don't think Ferdy would want to risk getting two-stroke on his mohair.
Oh,
and I was like, yeah, you got a good point there. So he got away with it. So
it sounds to me that you winged this. You winged your Quadrophenia film all the way through from the We Are the Monster, not riding scooters or riding 125 Yamahas. It sounds an absolute blast. But overall, though, did you really think the film would be as popular as it is?
No one. I mean, who could tell that? You just don't know.
No.
I mean, for me, we didn't. I mean, when we made the film, it sort of disappeared after we'd made it. I mean, the reviews weren't brilliant. It was out as a double bill, I think, with The Warriors and Scum for a while.
Another great film as well, Scum. Another great film.
Yeah, fabulous films, but they weren't really kind of blockbusters.
No.
At that time. And it really, for me, it wasn't until the DVD was released in 93 or 97. I'm not sure exactly. It was one of the early 90s.
Yeah.
And we all got back together in Brighton. And once it went out on DVD, it's never stopped since.
No, that's right. And it keeps getting redone and sort of like this and reissued here. And it's absolutely... I must have about 4 or 5 different copies of it. It's all the same.
Yeah, I know. I mean, all the different formats. But,
it's brilliant. I've got it on VHS, kids,
we didn't know.
Oh, fantastic stories there. Right, for now, though, Gary, have you got anything between now and, obviously, the big announcement, hopefully, early next year? Have we got anything I've missed or anything you're doing between now and then?
Yeah, I'm doing Scarmouth with Neville Staple and his lovely wife.
Oh, lovely.
Which is like a weekend down in Yarmouth, which I know the Lambrettas are playing, the Regents are playing.
Yep.
Sham 69 are playing. There's lots of... I mean, it's always a great weekend, and it's the 50th anniversary of Trojan Records as well.
Correct,
So there's a lot of reggae going on, and I mean, I'm just really honoured that they asked me to do it. And also, it's just going to be a nice weekend for me. So that's the next thing, and that's at the end of the month.
Excellent.
I'll be doing a little chat on the morning of the 24th. On the caravan site somewhere in some restaurant. So if anyone's down there, come and join me for bacon and eggs.
Why not, indeed. And the Scarmouth weekend is the 22nd to the 26th of November of this year. And as you quite rightly said, it's in Yarmouth, is it? Yeah?
Yeah, Great Yarmouth.
Great Yarmouth, yeah, not just Yarmouth. It's Great Yarmouth, and it's Great
Great
Scarmouth.
Yarmouth.
White Yarmouth, lovely. And, yeah, go and join Gary for bacon and eggies in the morning there. That's looking great, actually. And a great list of lineup of, talent there as well. So brilliant stuff there. And what are you doing for Christmas this year, apart from not singing any songs?
Yeah, apart from not singing any songs, I will be at home. And hopefully, and in the new year, it's a big year for me. And my son and his lovely wife are expecting our first grandchild.
Well, congratulations.
And it's a girl, so I've got a granddaughter to deal with at the end of the month in January. So all systems are geared for that.
Ah, but don't forget, though, this is the good thing with grandchildren. Once they start screaming, you can give them back. It's great.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
I've just got
a grandson
myself, and feed them full of sugar, then give them back and run.
I can't wait until she's 21 and she opens up this dusty old case with an old rain mac in it. And says, "Why has Grandad given me this coat?"
Little do you know the history behind the trench coat. Now, one other thing that really made me chuckle was that you've got now, obviously going through the family part. Now, I'm going to get this probably wrong, but someone made a comment of one of your family through marriage and said, "Oh yeah, I can see the real family resemblance." What was that about?
Who's that?
I have no idea who done it, and even if I had, I would not name and shame them, because they went, "Oh yeah, I can see the family resemblance," and you went, "Well, that's a bit hard because we're not blood related."
Oh yeah, no, that was my goddaughter. Yeah, no, that was my goddaughter who lives in. Well, she lives in London now, but that photograph of me and her was when she was about 4 years old in Dubai.
Yeah.
And her father, who still lives in Dubai, he sent me the photograph and said, "Look, I just found this photograph of you and Tessa." Yeah. And I said, "That's fantastic." So I found a photograph of her, what she looks like now.
Yeah, yeah.
And I put the two up, and I said, my fabulously gorgeous goddaughter.
Yeah.
And someone put, "Oh, I can see the family resemblance," and I was like, "Well, that's a bit weird."
Yes, even though you're not related by blood.
Absolutely, but I'm sure they meant well.
Of course, yeah. Obviously, we won't put any justification on that, but I did chuckle at that, and I just thought,
yeah, it was quite funny.
That was the perfect comment back, though. We're not we're not blood
there
related.
was no other comment to make, really, was there? I mean, that was
indeed.
It.
And I mean, if it was, then it would be just totally wrong as well. Come on.
Yeah, it is totally wrong. Yeah.
Gary, it's been a pleasure as always speaking with you, my friend, and can't wait to see you next year. And you stay safe, take care, and no more silly pop songs there. That's the only bit of advice I can give you.
I promise.
Now, and I will be playing that silly pop song come sort of second week of December, because here at Target Radio I am definitely not playing Christmas songs until a couple of weeks before the big day. We've got it all on telly, we've got it everywhere. You're going to your local Woolworths, if they were still there, they'll probably be having all your tinsel out and Christmas trees already. We don't need it yet.
Listen, as far as I'm concerned, it's not Christmas until Noddy Holder tells you it is.
Yeah, that one. I'm not even going to go there.
That's when you know. It's too late. And ananyway, could you give me 24 hours notice before you play it so that I can turn my phone off?
Of course.
So I can avoid all the hate mail.
Oh yeah, I'll give you a little text, and you can text me the reply, and I'll stick that up onto Facebook and let everyone know.
Yeah, so they can all turn off if they want to.
Absolutely.
No complaint.
Here, I know what to do. I might remix it with Frankie Goes to Hollywood and Two Tribes, just the siren bit to give everyone enough warning to know that I'm going to be playing.
Yeah, and if you really want to annoy people, why don't you mix it with the frog song and the birdie song as well, and just really ram it down.
Hey, come on, Paul McCartney and the Frog Chorus. Come on, that is an absolute classic. I love that. I love that song. Do you know, I'm going to try and find out and play it out with tonight's show.
You're not doing yourself any favours,
I'm probably not. No, I've lost another listener now. There you go. She's gone now. Right, I'm going to play something from The Truth, because you mentioned them earlier, and we're playing 2 from 1 this evening. So, Gary, thanks ever so much indeed, buddy, and I'll catch up with you soon.
Nice one, Sean. Speak to you soon, mate.
And yourself.
Bye,
Take care now.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. There we go. Mr. Gary Shail, live on Target Radio. And as he said, Dennis Greaves, he doesn't get any older, you know.